What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about the interior on the 0304 Cobra. Just going to give you guys kind of an idea on the quality of the interior, kind of the things I don't like about it, and just kind of overall, just an interior overview, just so you guys, if you guys are looking at getting a car like this, kind of what to expect when you're kind of getting a car like this. So, all right, so we'll start with the door panel. So kind of like an overview. Obviously you gotta have to kind of look at this as, you know, we're in the 2000s and not a whole lot of cars had really nice interiors in the 2000s anyway. So kind of take into consideration there's gonna be a lot of plastics and things like that, but overall, like the actual door material here is almost like a foam. So this is actually decent. This piece here is nice, like a foam, plasticky type deal. The main, I think the crappiest part about the interior has to be these almost like door pull areas. This is probably the cheapest feeling because this is where you touch the most. The main kind of complaint is that when you grab onto this, this one's actually pretty good. So the passenger side doesn't get used as much on this car, so there's really no creaking. You can kind of hear a little bit of a creak here. I'll show you on the driver's side. It's a little bit more loose because obviously it gets used more. Interior switches are fine. Nothing really to complain about. If you've any other Ford product from the 2000s are gonna have the exact same setup here. The door handles, they're fine. They're nice and scooped like this, so you can kind of get them, but they're definitely like a cheaper plastic. You know, that's kind of what it is. And then your speakers are back behind this grill here, so nothing really to complain here. Yeah, not the greatest door, but I'll show you guys on the other side kind of what I'm talking about here. So the passenger side is actually fine. Here's what the doors sound like closing. A little bit of definitely a heavy door, but just you can get a feel for that. But I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about with the driver's side here. You can really tell. So that's the cheapest part. So what I'm probably going to do, which I ended up doing something in the center console area here. So while I was driving, this thin plastic piece would rattle and kind of rub. Basically what I did is I popped it off, and on the back side what I put is almost like a foam with a 3M backing on it, and I basically put foam all in here, and that way I have almost like a buffer between the dash piece and this. So that's probably what I'll end up doing here to kind of get rid of this creaking, is just kind of take this off and put that foam on the inside, so it kind of has like a buffer in between. But I would say probably the crappiest part about the whole interior are probably these door panel or these door pull areas. Moving on to the inside here, the dash is that same like foamy material that the upper door part is made out of. No complaints there. I mean, obviously you're not touching up here anyway. This is like a plastic, like a thinner plastic material. It doesn't rattle, no issues there. Steering wheel is fine. The Cobras have a thicker steering wheel. It's leather wrapped. Really no complaints there. I never use cruise control, but the cruise control buttons are plasticky. They're not loose or anything like that, so they don't rattle or make any noise. All right, I will probably take it back. The crappiest part of the interior has got to be the center console little cover here. So this is probably the noisiest part of the interior, is going to be this center console. So if you rest your elbow on here and you're driving, you'll hear it kind of creak and rattle. There's really no getting around this. So this is probably the noisiest part of the interior. When you're driving, I don't hear it. You know, the exhaust is loud. I never really hear it. The only time I really hear it is getting in the car, you know, putting your elbow on it or something like that, or moving around. Yeah, other than that, radio controls, very similar to my TJ, my Jeep Wrangler. No complaints with this at all. It's fine. The controls here, just fine. Similar to my TJ, the early 2000s. They're plastic, but no real complaints about that. The vents are definitely a thinner plastic, but the actual like actuation of these back and forth is really nice. Really no complaints there. So another weird thing that these Mustangs have is this vent really doesn't do anything besides either make your knee really warm or really cold. Kind of a funny spot for one, not really useful. You can kind of tilt it up to make it a little bit better. But yeah, this isn't that great. The on-off guys here, they're fine. Definitely a cheaper plastic. I would say, based off my Wrangler, I would say the interior plastics on my Wrangler are definitely nicer than these plastics. There's not that much dash on the TJ, but another area they don't really grab. So the one good thing is all the cheap interior plastic bits are usually areas you don't touch. So another area is right here. So this is another noisy area right here. You don't ever touch that. And like I said, this part hasn't rattled for me yet. If it does start rattling, like I said, I'll do that, because right here you can see if you would touch another Cobra like this, it would be rattling like crazy. You kind of hear that squeaking, but because I put that foam in there, it doesn't rattle. So that's kind of a way to fix the rattle issue. If you have a Cobra, any 99 to 04 Mustang or 94 to 04 Mustang. So yeah, just I'd recommend getting that foam stuff. But yep, this could actually use it. So I'll probably do a video pulling this out and doing foam. I'd probably do foam on the inside of here, all where it's just making noise because it's kind of rubbing against the plastic that's underneath here. E-brake is fine. Really no complaints. It's kind of like a leather wrapped e-brake. No big deal there. The cup holders, kind of pointless. I mean, I don't know. So obviously the seats on the Cobra, probably the nicest part about the whole interior. They're leather wrapped with the suede inserts. Really comfortable seats. Adjustable headrest, which is nice. But yeah, nothing really. Have no complaints really about these. The only complaint I do have is in the driver's seat. You do sit up a little high, so eventually I'll swap these seats out for some Recaro seats, some like pole positions, some fixed back buckets, just so I can sit a little bit lower, because the driver's seat here has electronic like airbags in the sides that basically fill and deflate depending on how tight you want the bolstering. And then all the seat controls are all underneath here, so I think they kind of had to make the seat a little higher to fit those in there. Another not so great part of the interior are the seat belts. When these seats get old, they just don't like to retract. So that's an easy fix, just getting a new seat belt mechanism, but that's just something to consider. Back seat is they're fine. Same. It's like this isn't actually leather. It's like a faux leather back here with the suede inserts. Really no complaints back here. And then they fold down, and you got the trunk back there. But yeah, back here, this is like that same. This is actually more of like a foamy material. This top piece here, and then back here is that same kind of material that the doors are made out of. A little bit harder plastic actually, and these are plastic pieces too. So, but yeah, and I will put in a clip of me just riding around, like not accelerating, like just straight up driving, so you guys can kind of hear how the interior sounds when you're actually driving. Like I said, I'm pretty particular about stuff, and I fixed some of the rattles that were driving me nuts. But overall, if your car hasn't been beat up in the interior, it's not going to be that loud. Obviously compared to a new Mustang, not even in the same league, obviously. But you're not buying this car for the interior. But I think the overall design looks nice. I mean, the 2000s, it fits with the rest of the car. I like the gauges are really nice looking. I do like those. The overall design is fine. And, if you're looking for a Mustang that has no rattles, no nothing, look at the newer ones. But even the new ones, I'm sure, will develop rattles eventually. So these cars are getting older and older, and if they haven't been taken care of, obviously, you're going to have more creaks and rattles than other Mustangs. And then also, depending on where you live, where I live, the roads are absolutely horrendous. So this will probably be a good video for you guys on, like, worst case scenario. This is what the car sounds like on the inside. We have cracks and bumps in the road like every 7 feet, something like that. And so this is like worst case scenario. If you live in a state like Florida or any other state that doesn't have salt and snow and all that kind of stuff, you probably really wouldn't notice the interior rattles or anything, because it's just your roads are much nicer. So yeah, that's just kind of my overview on the interior on the Cobra. Like I said, you're not buying this car for the interior, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys my opinion on the interior. A lot of guys kind of get weird and offended when you start talking about things that are not great with the Cobras. I love the car. You buy it for the engine and the driving experience, and the size in the interior is fine for me. I don't mind the 2000s plastics. I'm not really grabbing, touching all those plastic pieces, and I've done my best to kind of make at least it not rattle as much. But yeah, so anyway guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give the video a thumbs up. Definitely consider subscribing. That helps me out a bunch, guys. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.